it's considered a healing food. There are lots of healing foods. What these healing foods do are protect against, mitigate, and even heal or cure some chronic diseases. Now, this isn't just coming out of my mouth. This is in research has studied that these types of foods can actually help cure certain chronic diseases. Now, again, I don't make like claims just for the sake of making them, but the fact is healing foods are that powerful. And not only do they do that or can do that, they can also slow down the effects of aging. So if, we're not wanting to look as old as we are, these foods, if you eat them on a regular basis, can help keep us feeling young and looking young. Also promoting longevity, so helping us to live a long, healthy life. If you want that, some people don't, I guess. Maybe some people don't care. They don't want to live past 90. I don't know. But if you are one of those people who would like to live longer, you've got great grandchildren to hang out with, you've got places to travel, you've got books to write, like whatever it is that makes you happy, having a longer life and a healthy longer life, that's what longevity is about, a healthy longer life. Why not? Like I hope so. I hope so. If I live to 100, that means I got those extra 30 years that, like, unfortunately, my mom, we'll talk about her soon, actually, because one of her recipes is from my mom. She passed away at, well, it's sad, but she passed away at 71 from cancer. And, again, we can get into it, but she was at higher risk of cancer because of her diabetes. Now, if you haven't ever taken my diabetes class, check it out, see if you can find it on the schedule. It's a very, very good class. All right, so why else are healing foods like these foods so powerful? That's because these nutrient-dense foods are able to reduce inflammation in your body. That's the reason. They're able to reduce inflammation in the body. Fantastic, okay? There are some doctors now that are out there that are, they specialize in health healing foods. Dr. Axe, Dr. Mark Hyman, they're all about nutrition should be in the center of healthcare. Dr. Mark Hyman talks about it a lot. Like, he feels that if you don't take care of your nutrition, like, what's the point of being in treatments and doing this and that? This is the cornerstone is your nutrition. Dr. Axe feels like whatever you're putting in your grocery cart has a huge impact on your health. I mean, we kid ourselves sometimes. We get stuff. We think, oh, the grandkids might come visit, or I better have this just in case. And, we're going to buy the ice cream, but we're not going to eat it, on occasion. Like, we kid ourselves sometimes. So that's what Dr. Axe says, whatever you're putting on in the grocery cart is having a huge impact. Now, while there's so many healing foods, we're going to talk about the 7 that I've chosen for today. I am waiting for it to come on the schedule. I have created another 7 healing food class with 7 more healing foods. So if this is your first time taking this class, that's great. But if it's not, and you're waiting for another 7 healing foods for me to talk about, I have the class created, just waiting for them to put it on the schedule. So number 1 food, apples. Apples. Are you surprised to see apples? So this is a fruit. You know what they say about apples? An apple a day keeps the doctor away. And they've been saying this. This is a saying from way back. I know people that swear by it. They have always had an apple. The apple is full of beautiful, soluble fiber that helps to cleanse your pipes inside. As you eat the apple, it's good fiber to clean everything, keep everything in good shape. It's packed full of vitamins and minerals. It actually delivers a double dose of heart protection. So if you have any issues with heart disease, eating an apple could save your life. Like, that's how I look at it. I try to eat an apple a day. There's times when, the apples don't look that great in the store, and so I don't buy them. Does anybody know when apple season is? Like, when are apples in season? Like, where you could actually pick it off a tree? Does anybody have an apple tree? Anybody? So where I live in Canada, in Victoria, we can grow apples here in North America, like in this part of the world, on the West Coast. I can't grow avocados like maybe Ruth could in Florida, but I can grow apples. So apple season is September and sometimes into early October, depending on the type of apple. That's when apples are their freshest, is like that end of August. Usually it's into September. Fall, that's when apples are actually ready. So keep that in mind. Don't let fall go past you and you don't eat the fresh apples. Yeah, Bella says, yeah, they're just starting to form. Now, we've had a lot of wind lately, but I had so many blossoms on our apple trees this season. I'm hoping we're going to get tons of apples. Now, for any of you that know me, now Ruth knows me pretty good. We live in a condo, me and my husband. We actually have what they call columnar trees, like as in column. And they're only about, they're not that wide. Like, how do I describe? Like a bit bigger than my head. I have these pots because we have a balcony. And we grow these, what they call columnar trees. So they just go straight up, which is what a tree does, but it doesn't go wide. And the apples are bunched on this stalk. So it doesn't take up it's not a big footprint. We got 20 pounds of apples about 3 years ago on these trees. Like we have 2 trees. I'm telling you, it's amazing. The apples don't get like as big as like in an orchard, like, this big, but they got big enough. Loved it. So don't think that just because you live in an apartment or a condo, you don't have a lot of space that you can't grow apples. So I love apples. Make sure you eat them when they're fresh. Know that if they come out in September, they are very easy to store. Like they've learned how to store apples for a long time. So if it's January and you're eating apples and they look a bit, I don't want to say old, but they might be a bit mealy, you buy them on sale at the grocery store, chances are they're from last September's apples, right? Or you might get them from the other hemisphere. Maybe you get things coming in from New Zealand or something like that. We do get apples from New Zealand, but like, just know that if it's like, I don't know, March and April, you're eating last year's apples. So make sure you eat your apples September, October, November. Like those are when the freshest apples are out there. Do you get more goodness from a fresh apple? Absolutely. That it's not gotten old. You still have nutrients in it, but you're at prime nutrient intake when it's a fresh piece of fruit or vegetable. You guys know that, right? Hasn't had time to kind of like get old and stale. All right. Any questions about apples? We're going to move on to ginger now, but anybody want to make a comment about apples? Doesn't really matter what type of apple you eat. Yes, some of them have higher sugar content, but really I say eat the apples that you like the flavor of. Do you like them crispy? Do you like them less crispy? Do you like them a little bit tart, which I do? I like the green apples. It doesn't really matter. When we get to the recipe, I'll show you that I actually combine 2 or 3 different apples for the recipe, but